good morning, my friends. Christine Ludwig here from Christine's Stamping Spot. Thank you for joining me today on my Friday Live for Friday, June the 5th already. Oh my goodness, we almost have the first week of June under our belt. Oh, we've had so much rain this last week. We haven't really been able to get out and enjoy it too much outside, but everything is turning so nice and green. I still have some flowers I need to plant. I haven't been able to do it. I was trying to do it before the rain came and just didn't quite happen, but we're almost there. So that'll be something to do. Hopefully we will get some sun. How about you? Let me know where you guys are tuning in from and watching from. I'd love to know who's watching and if we have any new friends joining us. That would be awesome. So June started out pretty busy with Stampin' Up! Too again. Usually the beginning of the month does. So we had on Tuesday the 2nd, we had some new kits launch. We had our new product of the month, which is this adorable little, what's it called? Wild Bunch stamp set. I think it's got these really cute little critters in it. The koala is my favorite, but really cute stamp set that you can get for the month of June. With a $100 order, you can purchase it for $7 in Canada. What else do we have? The last chance list was updated, so if you're looking for some great deals on things, be sure to check that out. There's always, lots of stuff that gets added. Some stuff we don't want to see on there because we love it so much, but we have so many new things coming too with our new catalog, and there's going to be some new online exclusives in July. And just, there's sometimes, honestly, it's hard to keep up, but just check the website. You can check my Facebook page too for updates. And yeah, there's just always lots happening, it seems, to keep us on our toes. So, and what else happened? Oh, I think there's a new craft class that's coming. And also on the 13th of June, I'll be participating in a retirement sale out in Morinville, Alberta. If any of you are in the local area, Edmonton, wherever you are, come give us a little visit out there. There's going to be a group of us, a whole group of demos with lots of retired product for sale. So if you don't find what you're looking for on the retirement list or on the last chance list, we always have stuff that people might want, and maybe you can't find anywhere else and you might find it there. So I will post details of it on the website or on my Facebook page for sure, and in my newsletter that's coming out too. So yes, so there's a little quick update for you of what's going on for now. So our leaders, our elite leaders, are currently on the Stampin' Up! Incentive trip this week. They are on a cruise to Alaska. So they left from Seattle, I believe, on Monday morning. And I've just seen a few little tidbits and some photos of some places. They stopped in Sitka. I've never been to Alaska, so who has? Let me know if you have. I know there are people out there that have been on cruises or have even, made the trek to drive up there. Beautiful country I've seen in photos, but I believe they were in Sitka, they were in Skagway. They did some tours. They did a train ride. Of course, so much is happening on the ship, and I'm not sure the exact number that are going, but this is, of course, because we're a global company, a lot of them are, like they're from all over the world. So I'm sure they are having the best time. So we will hear lots about that when they get back. So, okay, so since it's June, and I know graduation usually happens in June. Sometimes it happens in May. And I have two great nieces that are graduating high school this year, and I can't believe it. I don't know where the time has gone. I still remember them as babies and toddlers, but now they're graduating high school. one in Calgary and one here. So I thought, you know what, there's probably other people out there that know people graduating, and it doesn't have to be from high school. You might know someone graduating from a college or from university. Just a really exciting time for new graduates, right? So I thought, let's see if we can do sort of a fun graduation card, you know, in case you'd like one to give to somebody, or even if you might need it next year or whatever, right? It's always good to have a little variety in your stash of cards to give away. Okay, so let me flip my camera. Close your eyes for a sec. And I'll put you up here. And hopefully you can all see my work surface. So it's kind of cloudy here today, but the sun is peeking out. So I apologize if it gets dark or if all of a sudden we're blinded by the sun. But we will go with it because it's not raining yet. It is not raining yet, which is great. But it might later. We'll see. Okay, let me just straighten this. This looks kind of crooked in here. Sorry. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so I came across a project from Beth's Paper Cuts that was a couple of years old. And she was a demonstrator. I don't know if she still is. I don't know her name exactly other than Beth. But I thought this was kind of a fun project. And I'll show you what it looks like. So it looks like this. So meant to look like the cap with the tassel. And then you open it and you can make it like a gift card holder, or if you want to put a bit of cash in there, or you don't even have to. You could just leave it totally without the notch, okay? And then I did a little piece of cardstock on the back where you could write a message, because this is kind of small here. And then I just found a stamp set. I don't actually have any current graduation stamps. There probably are some there, or some, hi Kathleen, good morning. But I kind of went through to see what I had, you know, that would kind of feel like a graduation sentiment. So there may be a few retired products on this card, but use whatever you have. You could do it whatever color, perhaps the color of the school where your graduate is graduating from. They all have different school colors, right? So I'm going to go with a typical black and the black cap. Okay, so we have a little bit of cutting and scoring to do, but it's not hard. Okay, all right, so let's get started. So I'm going to bring up my paper trimmer and a piece of basic black cardstock. And this is our regular 8.5 by 5.5, and you can get 2 of these cards out of one piece of paper. So the first thing we need to do is on the 11-inch side, we need to cut off 1 1/4 from one of the sides, okay? From one of the ends. So I'm just going to fit it in the paper trimmer, and I'm going to cut off 1 1/4. Okay, so this is just for another project. All right, so then I'm going to turn it, and at the 4 1/4 mark, because this is now 8.5, the 8.5 side, I'm going to cut it in half at 4 1/4. Okay, so this will give us our 2 pieces of cardstock for our 2 cards. Okay, so you can set one away for another time, and we're going to work with this piece. All right, so because this is where we have to do a little bit of marking, I'm going to use a pencil, but if you wanted to use your scoring blade to make a mark, you can do that as well. And if you don't want to do it on your paper trimmer, you can always just use a ruler. Okay, that's really easy too. Okay, so I'm just double checking everything is working here. Yes. Good morning, Marlene. Everybody's bright and cheery on a Friday. Okay, so we need to mark the halfway point on 4 1/4. And so that happens to be 2 1/8. So if you're wondering where that is on your paper trimmer, here's the 2-inch mark, and this would be 1/8. Okay, so you'd have 1/8, 1/4, another 1/8, half, another 1/8, 3/4, another 1/8, and 3. So we want 2 1/8, which is not the small tick, but the next one, which is the first largest. Okay, so we're going to mark it, put our edge right up to the top at 2 1/8, and in the track I'm just going to put a little pencil mark, and we can erase these after. Okay, so not to worry. All right, so then we're going to flip it on the long side, and we're going to make another mark at 2 1/8 on the top and on the bottom. Okay, so right back at 2 1/8, and down here at the bottom. Okay, and then we're going to leave it in this position, and we're going to go all the way over to 4 1/4, and we're going to do a score line, not a cut. Don't cut. Make sure your cutting blade is out of the way. We're going to do a score line right here. Okay, so then we should have, I don't know if you can see in this light, we have a tick mark at the top, the side, and then our score mark down here. Okay. All right, so then what we're going to do, I need one more mark, another 2 1/8 mark. So we need, actually, from the score line, we need 2 1/8 at the top and the bottom. Okay, so let me put my score line on 2 1/8. So it's about there. 2 1/8. I'm actually going to set it down at the bottom. It's just easier for me. So you're going to put it down on your ruler, or just take a regular ruler at 2 1/8. Okay, approximately. 2. This is a little tricky to see. And then we're going to do another pencil mark, top and bottom. So let me bring this up so you can see. It's a little bit hard with the black. So the score line is here. So I put the score line on the 2 1/8 mark, which is that first long tick. And then in the track, I marked it at 2 1/8 top and 2 1/8 bottom. Okay, that is the measuring. That's all we have to do. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to take the top point and the first 2 1/8 here, and we're going to cut. So we're going to cut on the diagonal. So you're going to put those 2 pencil marks in your track of your paper trimmer. Okay, and then you're going to cut. Okay, and then you're going to do the same on the other side. So you'll just put that mark in your paper trimmer with the other mark and cut. And that's going to give you a big point. Okay. All right, so now we have to do some scoring. So what we're going to do is we're going to score from this left mark down to this right mark, and we're just going to do a score line. Okay, so let's put that mark in there and line it up with our 2 1/8 down here. Okay, and we're just going to score. All right, so there's one score line, and then we're going to do it again from this point down to this 2 1/8 mark. Okay, so let's get that point up there and a little mark here. Okay, and we're gonna score. All right, so now if you can see, you've kind of got this sort of star image with the score lines right here in the center, okay? All right, so now I'm gonna put my paper trimmer away, and I'm gonna just erase all of these pencil marks. Okay, like I said, if you don't want to use the paper trimmer to mark your measurements, just use a ruler. That works totally fine. And then you can go back and cut. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to fold and burnish on these score lines, okay? Because we want it to look like this in the center. All right, this is where that kind of star comes into play. All right, so let's fold it in half here first. Good burnish, and then we're going to fold these diagonal lines here. Okay, so once you have this part done, it's just decorating, and you can do that any way you like. Okay, so then when it's like this, do you see all these score lines, the sort of star in here? So what you're going to do is you're going to push this center score line in and push your cap down. Okay, and if it is scored and marked, hopefully I did at the right mark, it should line up, okay? And then you're just going to burnish it really well. And this is what will make your card. Okay, so here's your cap sitting on the front. Isn't that just so cool? I don't know if Beth came up with this or, you know, she got the idea from someone else, but it has been around for a little bit. So, okay, so now we can decorate. So let's start with the inside, this panel here. So we're going to put a piece of cardstock in here, and I did pre-cut pieces just to save some time. So we have 2 pieces cut. They are cut at 4 by 3, I believe. Let me just check. 4 by 3. So you're going to have one here on the inside, and we're going to put the other one on the back so you can write your message. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's do the back one first. And you're just going to leave that little bit of a border. Okay, leave that little bit of a border around. And this is where you can write your greeting. And then we're going to put one on the inside. But before I do that, I want to grab 2 pieces of designer paper. Now, I don't know if you guys remember this paper. Do you guys remember our modern Christmas, our black and gold and white paper? Oh, this was just so beautiful. And it had this pattern with the stars in it. So I thought, I still have some of that. Let's use that. Okay. So it's always a good idea to see what you have in your stash and just use that up, because, you know, this paper was so great. You could use it for, you know, like a graduation card. It doesn't have to just be Christmas. So I thought, let's just cut a little strip. So this is 3-inch long and 1/2 inch wide. So I cut 2 of those. Or if you had something that was the colors of the school, you could probably do that. Like if someone had red or, you know, blue or something like that, you could find some paper like that. Okay, I just thought that kind of, you know, makes it look a little bit nicer. Okay, so then before I put this on, you can decide, okay, do I want this to be a gift card holder or do I want to just leave it? And I think I'm going to make it a gift card holder again, like I did here. So before I put this on, I'm just going to cut a notch or punch a notch. Yes, don't you remember that paper? It was so popular this last Christmas. So popular. It was so beautiful. Just black and gold is just, we just love it, right? Okay, so I'm just taking my 1-inch circle punch. There's other punches out there if you want something a little bit wider or something with a little bit of a shape to it, but I don't know if I have anything like that here just to mix it up, but I'll just leave it at this one. So I'm just going to eyeball it and center in the white, and I'm going to go about halfway, a little over halfway, okay, like so, and give it a punch. And that is going to be my little notch where I can insert my card or cash or whatever you want to do, or a little gift certificate, you know, just whatever. Okay, so now we can put this on. So you can put it on with adhesive or with tear and tape. I think I'll just use adhesive. And I'm just going to go around all these 3 sides, okay? Because you want those to stick. And then we'll put this down here. Leave a little bit of that border. Okay, and press down. So do you guys have anybody graduating this year in your families? Or any friends of friends? Or children of friends? You know, boy, it's such an exciting time of year. I loved graduation. All right, so then I was thinking, let's do something that says celebrate. So this is an old, well, it's retired, this die set. It is the Wanted to Say dies, and it actually retired last May. I didn't realize that. But it has some great, like you have happy birthday, you can double up on that. It has celebrate, it has you're too kind. I'm trying to read backwards. And what's this one? Feel better soon. So you can layer these on top of each other, okay? And then there are these other little extras you can add. So I also cut out these stars, which I loved because they all cut out together. Because sometimes when you cut out like a die that has 3 of the same image, they look like they're attached, but they all come out loose. But these ones all came out attached. And you've got some nice hearts here. You've got a little Christmas gift. You could make a flower. So these are unfortunately retired, but I'm still going to keep using them. Hope you don't mind that. Okay, so what I did was I cut out the base with basic black, and then I did the overlay in gold, the celebrate, and I did put that on an adhesive sheet because I thought, oh my gosh, if I have to use glue, that is going to go everywhere. Okay, so this is going to just mount right on top. Like, does that not look, oh, I love black and gold. So beautiful. Okay, so let's see if we can peel this adhesive sheet. I love adhesive sheets. Do you guys use them a lot? These are the best for these sort of words or for really intricate dies. I mean, if you're, you know, really happy using glue on them, by all means. But I just find these are so great. They're not messy when you use adhesive sheets. And it gives you a little bit of give as far as repositioning too. Like if you're a little bit, if you're a little bit off, just be careful with the adhesive because on these really delicate letters, if your fingers get stuck and you pull, it could rip, okay? I mean, you can puzzle it back together, but just be aware that, you know, you have to be a little slow and patient with it just to get it lined up just right. And like you could do this in the colors too, right? If you had let's say the class color instead of black, or you could do the lettering in the class color on black. Now this is some gold foil that I had. I still had some brushed gold foil, and that's what I used, or the regular gold foil, whatever you have, right? So even if you just use cardstock, you know, in the colors, you probably find something to match, but I'm just sticking with the gold and black theme. All right, so this we're going to put at the bottom. Now, one thing to be aware, and when I first did this one, I wasn't too careful, so I had to reposition this. But you want to make sure that the Celebrate, when you close your cap, that the Celebrate doesn't get covered, okay? So if you were to, oh, let's put it in the middle, when you close your cap, it's going to cover it, and that doesn't look quite as nice. So just put it a little bit towards the bottom. So when you close it, you can still see the Celebrate, okay? And you could always, you know, stamp something or just leave it blank. That's fine, because there's other stuff going on, okay? All right, so let's just put this on with some adhesive. Okay. Marlene, who do you have graduating? Pretty soon we're gonna, you know, we're in the great niece stage one day. If we live long enough, hopefully, you know, you'll be blessed to see grandchildren graduate. But there we go. So you can see the Celebrate down here. All right, so now we are going to add this piece. So this white is cut at 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Okay, 2 3/4, yeah. So I'm going to stamp my greeting on here. And so like I say, I don't have a current graduation stamp set, but I did find the Sunrise Sailing. Now, unfortunately, this has also just retired. So the bundle retired December 2, 25 with the dies and hybrid embossing folder. Do you remember this hybrid embossing folder? Yeah, that was gorgeous too. So that's also retired. However, the stamp set itself just retired this March. But this is a great set. It's good for retirement, birthday, congratulations. So I pulled the congratulations and you're destined for great things. I thought that was a really appropriate message, I guess. So when we stamp this, we have to remember to stamp it with our paper in this position, in the diamond position, okay? Naturally, we want to go this way, but that won't work in this particular card, right? Because if you do that, then you're going to be looking at your greeting like this. We want to look at it like this. So make sure that you have your cardstock in the diamond, for lack of a better word, in the diamond position, okay? So I'm just going to ink this up in my black, my tuxedo. I do not have the current ink yet. Okay, excuse my head. I'm just going to put this a little bit higher. Okay, so congratulations. And then destined for great things. Oh my goodness, what will the future hold for our young people? Good things, I hope. Okay, so then put that right below, like so. Okay, so that is done. So now we can put this inside. All right, so let's put it in here. And again, we're going to leave a little bit of that border. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. Okay. Oops. There, that's pretty good. All right, so I thought, oh, okay, we need to just bling this up a bit. So this is where I cut out those stars from those same dies. So when they came out, they looked like this. So I have 3, okay? So I'm gonna put 2 here on the black. You could put some here if you wanted. A bit of adhesive there. And I'm going to put 1 here at the top. So for this, because they are quite tiny, you could use adhesive, but I will use the glue just because they are quite small. So just a little dab will do ya, right? Because I don't want this to smear everywhere. Now, I'm going to grab my tweezers to put these on because otherwise it's guaranteed I will have glue all over my fingers. Oh, come on. Which I'll probably have anyway. I just suck with glue, honestly. I am so challenged with glue. What is wrong with me? Okay. I'm going to turn this one upside down like so. I'll put 1 up here. There. Okay, just press down. And this is some brush gold that I had, but you can see a little bit of that in there. It's really pretty. All right, so let's try this. These ones. And, I mean, nothing says you have to use this. You could put, you know, if you had some star embellishments or just something that had a little bit of bling, you could definitely just put those in. You don't have to die cut anything else. I just noticed these when I was cutting the words, and I thought, oh, well, that works. Yes, so there we go. Oh, this got stuck to my finger, so I may as well just use it. Okay. Can you see that, everybody? How do you like these colors? I don't know. Yes. Okay, and this is, yeah, totally customizable, right? To anything, any color that you want. Okay, so that's basically the inside. So all we have left now is our tassel on the top. And how are we going to do that? So, Beth made her own tassel, but do you guys remember these? Oh my gosh, these were mini tassels that we had a long time ago, because it's still in the old packaging. And they had the silver and the black. So I am going to use the black, even though the cap is black, but that's okay. I'm going to add a little bit of ribbon as well. Now, if you wanted to make your own, because you could easily do this in the color of the school. So if it was red or blue or whatever, green. Now, we don't always have solid baker's twine colors available, but you could always use embroidery thread. Okay, so you would just wrap it around a piece of cardstock and then slip it off, tie it first and then slip it off, cut the bottom, and then you have your tassel basically, right? And then just, you know, make sure that it's tied there. So this just has this little loop in addition. So here, what I did was I just strung this ribbon through the loop. And this I'm sure is also retired. This was cherry cobbler in gold. This must have come out at Christmas, I'm thinking. But whatever, if you have a nice ribbon in the school color, just use that. I thought, well, this still has gold. I didn't, you know, I'm not crazy that this is silver, but that's okay. The ribbon still has some gold. So I'm just going to cut a piece off. I'll trim this probably. And I'm just going to slide it. I think I just slid it through. I slid it through this little silver ring. Okay, and then I'm just going to adhere it with some glue dots together. So take your pick, and I'll try to get some glue dots in here. I'll offset it a little. And this is just meant to be a bit of an accent because it does have the black. I keep going off camera, I think. I'm sorry. Oh, what is this? Okay, so let me just cover up this glue dot. It's already stuck here. Oh my gosh. These piddly things, but it's so worth it at the end. Okay, let's just kind of go over like so. That's better. And then I'm going to put some on the bottom to tack this down. I'm just going to trim this a little because there's a little hole in there from the pin mark, I think. So let's just cut these at an angle, the ribbon. Okay, so then I'm going to put some glue dots here on the back. I guess you could even just put glue. I wonder if that would hold better. But would it be messy? I don't know. So let me start. I'll start with the glue dots and see. Let's put a couple behind the ribbon. And then we'll put one behind the tassel. Maybe here. Oops. Oh my gosh. My fingers are sticking to everything today. So maybe one more there. And then one behind the... Now, if you have a better way of doing this, great. Initially, I thought, what if I had a large brad? Because then I could have put a large brad through here and made a tiny hole at the top of my, before I put this in, I could have made a little hole and put my brad through, and that would have been cool too, but I didn't have one big enough to cover that. So that's okay. It still gives you the colors and all of that, right? And there you go. I think that is the last part of it. So here can be the school colors in your ribbon just as an accent. Here's your tassel, and then they open it up and you can leave them a little gift if you like. And then you can write a nice message on the back, and it will fit in our envelope, I believe. I hope so. I didn't try it. Did I? I have one here. Will it? Oh, it will. Look, it will even fit in our envelope. How great is that? Okay, so what do you think of that? That's just kind of a fun spin, fun twist, shall we say. I'll get my camera down here.